Welcome to Simplified Reads, where we break down the best books into bite-sized, deeply human moments. Reading made simple, thoughtful, and fun. At Simplified Reads, we begin our journey with good material by Dolly Alderton, a heartfelt and wry exploration of modern heartbreak. The protagonist, Andy, a 35-year-old stand-up comedian, is suddenly dumped by his long-term girlfriend Jen, and what follows is a messy, deeply human unraveling. Andy drowns his sorrow in booze, engages in cringeworthy social media stalking, and implores his friends for solace. Alderton doesn't shy away from the minutiae of heartbreak. She captures the obsessiveness, the self-indulgent moaning, and even the small, absurd things, like a tone-deaf personal trainer advocating ridiculous health goals. The humor is warm rather than cruel, and though the canvas is small, centered on Andy's personal regression and recovery, it feels universal in its emotional reach. Critics have praised Alderton's sharp ear for dialogue, the banter between Andy and his friends, and her poignantly honest portrait of post-breakup life. The Guardian particularly notes how Alderton balances satire and compassion, giving us a protagonist who is flawed and often cringy, but achingly real. From there, we move into darker comedy with Last Acts by Alexander Sammartino. This novel pushes at the absurdity of morality and capitalism through the fraught relationship between David, a gun store owner, and his estranged son Nick, who has just survived a heroin overdose. In a desperate attempt to help both his father's failing business and his own recovery, Nick produces a confessional video in which he promises to allocate a portion of each gun sale toward rehabilitation. What starts as a self-flagellating plea becomes a viral sensation and sparks controversy, activism, and violence. The humor here is bleak and satirical. It comes from moral dissonance, from the tragedy of addiction turned into a marketing strategy, and from the fundamentally twisted idea that redemption might be bought. While not a breezy laugh-out-loud comedy, the novel's dark absurdity exposes how deeply social issues like addiction, religion, and profit can entangle. Sammartino's book has been noted for its crackling prose, and its short listing for the Wodehouse Prize underscores how effectively it walks the line between tragedy and satire. Next, Yellowface by R.F. Kuang amplifies the satire to systemic levels, turning a literary thriller into a scathing commentary on race, privilege, and the publishing industry. June Hayward, a struggling white author, steals the unpublished manuscript of Athena, her more successful Asian American friend, after Athena's sudden death. She finishes it, publishes it under a new name, and maneuvers through the toxic optics and social media fallout that follow. The humor in Yellowface is razor sharp. It's not just about theft, but about the entitlement, self-delusion, and performative wokeness that can fuel modern literary success. Kuang constructs June as an unreliable narrator whose self-justifications feel both chilling and darkly funny. Her ego is cartoonishly inflated, and yet she also embodies real anxieties tied to race and validation. The novel has been celebrated as a fast-paced, gripping satire. Kirkus calls it biting, and Library Journal praises its darkly witty tone. But not all agree. Some critics feel June's character is occasionally unrelatable or the satire overly blunt. Moving from ruthless satire to melodramatic romance, Tackle by Jilly Cooper brings that classic British over-the-top energy. Ego, sport, and sex all collide in a delightfully campy setting. Rupert Campbell Black buys a struggling lower-division football team, throwing himself, as always, into the public eye, romance, and social drama. Cooper's signature style, big personalities, romantic mischief, and sly class commentary, is on full display, and the humor comes in waves. Ridiculous business decisions, flamboyant declarations of love, and the kind of self-important social maneuvering that's both cringeworthy and deeply entertaining. The novel is widely available in English-speaking markets, and longtime fans of Cooper say it brings back that heady mix of satire, romance, and comic excess she's known for. Even if some critics feel the romantic plotlines aren't quite as bold as in her earlier blockbuster days. In Weirdo by Sara Pascoe, the humor is quieter, rooted in character and social awkwardness. Sophie is navigating life, love, and identity in a way that feels very raw. She follows a crush to Australia, ends up broke, and finds herself working in a pub called The Slipper. What makes the novel so relatable and laugh-worthy is Sophie's internal monologue. She's endlessly self-conscious, wildly charming in her neurotic moments, and devastatingly honest about her weirdness. The comedy isn't about big slapstick moments, but about the small missteps, intimate insecurities, and awkward interactions that define her life. Pascoe brings a warm, empathetic voice to her characters, allowing readers to see themselves in Sophie's messiness. The book has gained attention for its observational humor, and critics have applauded Pascoe's ability to weave griping, charm, and awkward grace. She won the Jilly Cooper Award, Comedy Women in Print, a recognition of how deeply humorous and emotionally grounded her writing is. Turning to Funny Story by Emily Henry, we are firmly in rom-com territory, and yet Henry brings her signature emotional intelligence and humor to new heights. Daphne, a librarian, and Miles, whose romantic past is bizarrely entwined with hers, decide to pretend to date for the amusement and possibly annoyance of their exes. As they fake their relationship, genuine feelings emerge, and humor flows from misread signals, banter, and the inevitable contrast between what they say and what they feel. Henry's writing captures the small absurdities of romantic life, the awkward dinners, the internal voices, the "why are we doing this again" moments. The book is globally available in multiple formats, and readers and critics have celebrated its clever dialogue and emotional payoff. Some do note that the pacing is brisk and the relationship develops quickly, but most agree that the trade-off is worth it for the laughs and heartfelt growth. The Book of Ayn by Lexi Freiman introduces a different flavor of satire: intellectual, philosophical, and deeply absurd. Anna, a novelist who is canceled after publishing a controversial book, becomes obsessed with Ayn Rand. She moves to LA to write a sitcom about Ayn Rand, then retreats to a Greek commune, seeking ego death and clarity in equal measure. Freiman uses over-the-top egoism and philosophical fantasy to unpick power dynamics, self-centeredness, and the cult of personality, and she does it with style and humor. The novel's strength lies in its fearless critique. It laughs at ambition, identity, and the deep absurdities of self-importance. The book is available internationally, and critics have noted Freiman's bold voice. Her satire is incisive, though some argue that the book's philosophical tangents can feel heavy or meandering. Yet for readers who enjoy ideas wrapped in comedy, this is a sharp, rewarding read. Shifting gears, Tugnutt's Creek by Colette Friedman and Nathan Yakis is a surreal, whimsical journey into a town, or perhaps a world, where magical realism meets social satire. The setting is delightfully absurd. Tarot readings, eccentric townsfolk, strange prophecies, and humor emerges both from the characters' odd habits and the bizarre rules of their reality. It's a novel about small, odd moments, the kind of conversation about magic that feels like a regular Tuesday, the kind of revelation that is silly yet sincere. For readers who enjoy offbeat fantasy and satire, Tugnutt's Creek offers laughter in its weirdness and commentary masked as whimsy. While it may not have massive mainstream critical coverage, the book resonates with readers who appreciate originality and playful social critique. In Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman, the comedic premise is built on a high-concept absurdity. Earth has been transformed into a literal dungeon, and Carl, an overweight everyman, must traverse it like a player in a deadly, gamified arena. The humor is dark, existential, and very situational. Carl doesn't fit the hero mold, and his struggles are both hilarious and poignant. He fights monsters, confronts bizarre creatures, and endures existential dread while being aware, in his own way, of the spectacle he is part of. The satire here touches on streaming culture, gamification, and how modern entertainment commodifies suffering. Thanks to acquisition by Ace Books, the novel enjoys broader distribution, and readers appreciate how the book balances absurd humor with surprising emotional depth. It's a cult favorite among lit RPG fans, but its comedic writing is accessible even to those unfamiliar with the genre. Finally, Humor Me by Kat Shook brings us back into the realm of personal healing, friendship, and the courage to laugh at your own grief. Presley Fry, who works in late-night TV, is still reeling from her mother's death when she reconnects with Susan, her mother's old friend, and together they navigate comedy, loss, and new beginnings. The humor is gentle. It comes in stand-up routines, in awkward moments backstage, and in the quiet, unexpected ways people support one another. Presley's journey reveals how laughter can be a lifeline, not just an escape, how it can carry sorrow, and how small, imperfect moments of connection matter. Critics have noted Shook's ability to balance emotional weight with levity, and the book has found a warm place among readers who appreciate stories that make you laugh and feel heartbreak in the same breath. Together, these 10 novels from 2023 to 2025 showcase a wide spectrum of humor, from romantic misadventures and satirical jabs to surreal absurdities and observational comedy. Each book finds laughter in the nuances of human behavior, the irony of social constructs, and the small moments that make life both challenging and delightful. Collectively, they serve as a testament to contemporary literature's ability to help readers reflect on life's follies while laughing at them. Thanks for tuning in to Simplified Reads. If you enjoyed our journey through laughter, life, and literature, hit subscribe and join us next time as we unpack another book in the simplest, most meaningful way.